Ladies and gentlemen, it's Adrian's Dunchik, CMT, Charter Market Ignition Crypto Burp, and I want to welcome you today to our today's AMA session with our partners, incredible partners at Alkimi. And I'm here joined today by the CEO co-founder himself, by Ben Putley. How's it going? How are you feeling, Ben?
I'm doing good, Adrian. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited for this one.
Really excited as well. And well, it seems that not only lots have changed, in favor of Alchemy, with the entirety of the market as since we last spoke. Let's talk and see what we have, kind of like from the fresh new information. Lady, you visited the UK House of Commons, right? And you met,
Yes.
as we spoke, our mutual friend Dr. Lisa. I just had a pleasure
hmm
to meet her in Davos as well earlier, a couple of weeks ago. Robbie, Stephen Bartlett. And can you share a little bit of the takeaways, like key messages, key insights that you gained from the discussions?
Yeah, I think the most exciting um, part for me was over the last sort of 18 months or so, we have been engaging with more regulators, with the government. Our first session was with Dr. Lisa Cameron. It was an APPG. There was about 15 people in the room. About 6 months later, we went to do another Coinbase event with Stand with Crypto, and there was probably 30 people in the room. But this time we were in the biggest meeting space at the House of Commons. There was more politicians there than I've seen before. There was more partners there than I've seen before. There was more projects that had been founded in the UK than I'd seen before. So just for me, it was exciting to kind of see that progression in how the UK government is taking this seriously. There was kind of peers there that were really identifying this as an important sector for the UK for growth. So just the kind of welcoming of blockchain companies into the UK government has increased a lot. And that for me was the most exciting part, that people are now recognizing the potential of this sector, the value this sector can bring. Um, and people were showing up in numbers that I hadn't seen before. So just the general growth was really, really encouraging to see. And for us to kind of be part of that conversation with Coinbase and their initiative Stand with Crypto was, I felt very fortunate. I had to pitch to 5 investors in, I think I had 2 minutes, which is always quite difficult. I think I'm quite good at speaking about Alchemy. When you get asked to do it for 2 minutes with no notes and no slides, it becomes a totally different prospect. But yeah, it was really exciting just to see the excitement towards blockchain in the UK.
Mm, love it so much. And quick shout out, I think, to Dr. Lisa Cameron. To my memory is blurry. From what I remember, she's Scottish, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And she's such an incredible person to actually, to represent, I think, crypto industry in the governmental
Mm,
bodies, right? Because from what I remember, she was the first kind of like an official crypto representative, on the political side,
that's
which is
right. Yeah.
always good to have those people, right? Because those are the people that are voting for not only for us as in the market participants, the people, the founders, the CEOs, and the guild, let's say. Those are
Mm,
the people that really can make an impact, right? Or making the world better with blockchain as a technology, right? And of course, we had a lot of catalysts lately. Not only the ETFs that are well over like 120, well over 100 billion, close to 120 billion, with close to 60 billion under assets management just from BlackRock,
mm.
iShares alone, IBIT, right? Grayscale, Vanguard, Vanek. Then we have Donald Trump inauguration, and one of the promises to be made, to be delivered actually on, is to introduce the strategic Bitcoin reserve, right?
hmm
So a lot of catalysts, right? A lot of
Yeah.
bullish, kind of like macro catalysts, if you will.
hmm
Let's talk about the catalysts that are driving now lately Alchemy, right? What is it, the main catalyst, if you were to comment on one, that is gonna help and push Alchemy basically towards this 1% of the advertising market that you're talking about? What's that gonna be?
I think it's been a slight reframing of our approach to buyers of ads. I think in the early days of Alchemy, we were trying to educate buyers on the features of the network. So the transparency, the low fees, really the efficiency of their dollar spent is greater when it's spent with Alchemy. The challenge we had is with the way the media agencies plan campaigns, that's actually quite difficult. Like faster, cheaper, more transparent. That's challenging to put into a media plan, which is typically like dictated by formats and audiences and levels of performance. You know, like we're good on the performance, but like not necessarily how does this kind of fit into the plans they put together, which can deal with multiple partners. So we have formulated a way in which to do that, which has significantly moved the needle with the buyers that we have. We call it 100% share of screen. And really, that is what it says on the tin, right? So, because of our efficiencies in our bidding, because our fees are so low, we're effectively able to win every ad unit on page to deliver quite a high impact format for brands. Typically, they would be doing this via sponsorships through publishers directly, which can be cumbersome to manage, it can be more expensive. So we give brands the opportunity to be the only brand on a particular page, on a particular app, or on a connected TV. That is great for a number of reasons. Like there's some brands that don't want to be on page, other brands, like luxury brands in particular, don't want to share their brand equity with other buyers. And there's also big portfolio brands that, if they're not winning every ad unit on page, might be bidding against themselves for their respective brands. So are kind of cannibalizing their own bidding the cost of their inventory up without necessarily realizing they're doing it, because there is trillions of ad impressions that are available to buy at any one time. And there's not many, and they might be coming from 5 different partners. So you don't have that ability to determine which is which. So 100% share of screen has been a real game changer for us. It's allowed us to deepen our relationships with agency partners, with brands directly. And I think the last catalyst now just really is time. I know crypto moves very quickly and blockchain moves very quickly, but you still need time to pass. You still need to demonstrate the value. You still need to show brands that these ad units perform better because they're using blockchain infrastructure. So I think that 100% share of screen has been a real game changer for us. And a lot of the final point really is a lot of the integrations that we've done with DSPs. So making the inventory available to purchase in more venues allows more people to buy it. That drives up activity, that drives up impressions, that drives up transactions, and ultimately drives up revenue for the network.
Love it so much, and it of course makes sense, especially for the luxury brands, that they wouldn't want to share this screen equity, right, or this entire presence, right? Because that's their desire to be the one and only in the world, actually. And if we take a step back, for what Alkimi has achieved, over the last months, is it's not only the 1 billion transactions, on the ad exchange, for the key milestones. I'd say that it's also fundamentally important for a business to continue to grow the revenue, of course, right? Because this is where all the fundamental value investors, this is what they appreciate, right? Where there's actual steady growth of revenue, steady quarterly inflow of clients, of users. So what do you think are the biggest factors behind the success so far?
So I think what I was talking about really with the 100% share of screen was a great catalyst to get to that billion impression mark. I think the net of that is just the growth of the revenue. I think the support that we've had from the community and wanting to run validators on the network to allow the transactional throughput for a billion transactions to take place, but then also billions and billions more. Like some of our competitors handle significantly more transactions, but they're much more well established than we are. So we're kind of getting there slowly but surely. So I think really it is time in market. It is providing something that is easily buyable via media agencies, and then just growing the relationships, understanding how they're buying, proving that we can be a valuable partner to them, servicing them when they need to be serviced, just like doing the boring bits well, just like allowing them to get reports on time, allowing optimizations to be made, delivering performance where they need to find it, like giving them a route to some of the best publishers on the internet. It's very, there's nothing sexy or exciting. It's just kind of doing the boring stuff well over and over and over again. Like, I wish I could come here and say, oh, we've beaten Pump.Fun in the revenue, but we're not a casino, So I think that bookmakers make tons of money, like you could argue Pump.Fun is just a meme coin casino. I think the odds are probably worse than if you were playing blackjack, but we are where we are. So yeah, it's quite a boring answer, but it's like, that is what it takes. It's just repeating the same things, doing them well, going above and beyond what they expect, taking advantage of missteps that the partners make, and just being there as a reliable partner for these buyers and helping us grow the business, kind of providing strategic value to the clients they work with, working closely with them, and just doing a good job. It's all about servicing at this point.
Correct. And to translate it in even, I think even more layman terms, is that each and every single person, founder, trader, investor, leader, is going to appreciate the predictability of the business, right? As in, if you can
Exactly that.
predict, you
Yeah.
can anticipate, you can make a budget, you can plan around it, which is why it's so important that so many projects on a risk-adjusted basis, right, are the risk-adjusted kind of like returns, the risk-adjusted performance are so much more superior, so much superior than the upside that you can get alone from it. Because, for instance, if you can make a for everybody who's listening and viewing, if you like, we brought Pumped and Fun right here. If you're talking about having a shitcoin that is gonna 100x and then it's gonna plunge like 99% on the next day, I wouldn't call that sustainable. I wouldn't call that something that could be anticipated in the future to extend and to actually flourish and to prosper into the future, right? While on the other hand, exactly what is more valued, what is the actual stance on the fundamental value investments, is the predictability, right, of the business
Yeah.
growth. Is actually reducing the downside, reducing the risks, and smoothing out the entire growth over the long term in order to make it more predictable. That's what's valuable, and I fully agree with you, Ben. And speaking of which, one of the additions that you just lately added is, and then brought in, is the real-time insights, right, into exchange revenue and transactions. So could you explain to us a little bit why this was such a crucial step to you?
I think we've, as a business, set ourselves apart from other blockchain businesses in the transparency that we've had with the community. Myself, the other co-founders, members of the team, have kind of spoken very regularly and candidly about growing a blockchain company. It is uncharted territory to some degree, with technology that is at the bleeding edge. So there is a degree of unpredictability, but we've tried to be as transparent as we can around who we're working with, the decisions that we're making. We've had some really amazing governance proposals go through. So this is just an addition to that, to provide our token holders, our validators, with the ability to query the exchange, to gain insights themselves, and to, as you kind of rightly said, I think we have a lot of kind of fundamental and value-based token holders. So this again allows them to make better informed decisions about their holdings, what they view of the future of the business, kind of just giving people the ability to access more information, understand how much revenue is being generated, and really just like be able to track the growth that we've seen. It's the numbers have been transactions have been going up. I think we hit 3 million transactions yesterday, which is quite a big number. But here's to many more. And I think having people have the ability to query that through our API just fills people with more confidence.
I love it so much. And with of course, the entirety, like I said, of the positive catalyst.
I think I've lost you, or it might be me.
There we go.
Oh, you're back.
Not
Nice.
only, yeah, not only the your team kind of like recently visited the IPG, to introduce blockchain and crypto concepts to major agency team. I would say, the entire reaction, to what you proposed about the Alchemy's vision. What was it? How did they react? What was the actual reception? If you don't mind explaining, please.
So I think they'd won quite a big client. We were helping them understand how best to reach the audiences their clients were looking for. So there was varying degrees of knowledge in the room. I was actually on paternity leave, so I wasn't in the room, but a lot of the team did a really good job. I think there's about 60 people from the agency that attended. So kind of just telling them the story of Bitcoin, the history of money, why Bitcoin is interesting as far as that story is concerned. And then just kind of as a company that is native to blockchain, just understanding what consumer crypto traders look like, what pro crypto traders look like, the attributes to those two different audiences, where you might go about finding those audiences, and then also with our general counsel making sure that we're following the right local regulations on how best to communicate with those audiences, because you can't mislead people in the messaging that you put online. It's very important to follow the law, I think, just as a rule of thumb in general. So I think overall the reception was really great, both from the agency and the client. We actually had another call on Wednesday this week, and I'm really looking to see how that partnership develops. I think it's encouraging that crypto companies, blockchain businesses, whatever you want to call them, at least in my experience, have kind of gone for two speeds of marketing. There's like a lot of affiliate based work, or the ones that have done really well are sponsoring Formula One teams or stadiums or football clubs. And there's something to be said for tying those two together. Kind of you're increasing your addressable market through endorsements and then converting people to actual customers. There's a whole brand building that can take place on more of the traditional channels, of which we have a very compelling product, a very efficient way to buy on those channels. So I think that we will see more brands start to expand into like online advertising than we've seen outside of where we've seen it historically.
Correct. And I couldn't help but actually just highlight this incredible website you guys have. I know I did it
Thank you.
before. However, I truly appreciate, the actual visual aspects of it, the simplicity of it, and that's exactly what catches, so much of the attention, right? Because in the world full of noise, we crave signals, we crave clarity, we crave this reliable guidance, and that's exactly what you can see in the website. So I highly encourage everybody to go and check it and visit the website from our partners at Alkimi at www.alkimi.org. And not only that, actually, if you are on Twitter, I do encourage everybody to go ahead and hit the follow button on the very today's speaker profile, Ben Putley. This is Benjamin Putley with his handle as CEO and co-founder, fully deserved, viewership right there. And on top of that, I fully encourage everybody as well to go ahead and hit the follow button on Alkimi Exchange, because for our partners, 37, almost 40,000 people, good luck fitting that in one room, right? There's a whole crowd
Yeah.
of people. That's a whole army of incredible people. So congratulations to you on that. And thinking of, as we kind of like get closer towards the wrap of the session, one of the questions that I was thinking about is, knowing that Alkimi basically has worked with, and pitched to a lot of exciting brands, just like you mentioned. Of course, you shared the discussion with Coinbase and the like. Now, can you share a few favorable, kind of like the biggest notable names, collaborations, prospects that you guys discussed?
So it's really been with the media agencies. They represent tons of brands. The Publicis is one. I think it is the biggest media agency in the world. we've really turned a corner with Publicis. We're one of their preferred partners now, which has allowed us to access their very enviable portfolio of brands that they work with. You have people like Meta, Philip Morris International, LVMH, Visa, Puge, Coty, just some of the best brands in the world that have trusted Publicis to help with their media buying. We now work closely with Publicis, so we've opened ourselves up to the hundreds of brands that they work with. It allows for us to kind of punch well above our weight in terms of the brands that we can access. We're working with Coca-Cola. We've been doing work with IPG. There's various independent media agencies that we work with. It's just been, it takes a long time to have them trust you. They don't want to take any risks. It's very risk adverse. So I think it's just been a case of education sessions like we did with IPG, having them understand the capabilities afforded to them by a blockchain and how that can fit into their media plans and how we can help them target audiences that they're looking for more efficiently, more effectively, to unlock more dollars for our exchange across the board has been really important. I think more of that. I think there's obviously bigger markets. We're doing a good job across the UK and EMEA. I think we do still have one eye on North America. I think particularly with their dramatic 180 into how they view blockchain could be quite interesting for us over the next sort of 4 years or so.
Love it so much, with so much calmness in your voice, and an actually good deep radio voice. I think this is exactly what people appreciate. Like I said, so many traders very often get it wrong. So many investors get it wrong, right? It's not only the upside; it's also it has to be smoothed out and equated somehow against the downside. The risks, the volatility, the fluctuations, which is exactly what causes so much uncertainty, right? And we as people appreciate transparency. We as people appreciate the reliable signal and the noise, right? Where something that we can truly put our votes on. And that seems to be one of our partners right here, joined by Ben Putley himself of Alkimi. And before we wrap, is there any particular side note, like a golden tip takeaway that you love to leave our viewers and listeners with for today, Ben?
I think just keep your eyes on the Ads Explorer. We've been trending the right way. I fully anticipate that to continue. That's the best place to go, is we can track the transactions, use our API, see what we're doing. And there'll be more I can share as we progress through the year.
Love it so much. Alkimi.org, Ads Explorer. Benjamin Putley has been our today's guest as CEO and co-founder at Alkimi, for our incredible partners. Thank you so much for your time, wisdom, and wealth of knowledge, Ben. Great hosting you again.
Thanks so much, Adrian.
See you on the next